From Forest Green Rovers away to Old Trafford away, Ipswich Town have enjoyed a remarkable rise over the past 2 seasons. Tractor Boys supporters could never have imagined the journey they were about to embark upon when Kieran McKenna arrived at the club in 2021. But as a club steeped in history, Ipswich fans will feel they are back where they belong, going toe-to-toe with some of the biggest clubs in the land. This is their story.
The first team match I went to was in November 1979 and we beat Southampton 3-1.
How long have you supported Ipswich?
My whole life, mate. Since I was out of the womb.
It's not an easy club to support in some ways because of course we're a bit the back and beyond.
Last season I went to every single away game and it was the best season of my life. But yeah, I spend my own hard money to go to the games and I wouldn't change it for the world.
What are the general emotions of Ipswich fans been over the past sort of 20 years, leaving the top divisions, coming back in?
Boredom, quite a lot of it. The club stagnated, I think, I think how most people would express it. We never really reached that point where players weren't being paid and or anything like that. So it was a sort of gradual kind of death by a thousand cuts, really.
After a frustrating 20 years, where the Tractor Boys found themselves languishing in the EFL, 2021 signal change for Ipswich Town. First, the arrival of CEO Mark Ashton, who made the decision to appoint manager Kieran McKenna, and that decision was a masterstroke. Fortunes for Ipswich were turned on its head, and the club started to believe again.
Kieran McKenna's come into the club. Obviously he came in a couple of years ago and he's completely changed the morale around the town, within the club. The whole fan base is sort of back united now.
Kieran McKenna is a breath of fresh air. It was extraordinary, really, the success he's had. And I mean, it's only December 2021 that he became manager, and I think we were 11th in League One at that time, and now we're going into the Premier League.
It's just a different feel about Ipswich Town at the moment. The day we got relegated against Birmingham, I walked out on the ground and I said to my mum, am I ever going to see Ipswich in the Premier League, mum? I honestly didn't think it'd be any time soon. Instant success, you could say, as well, with 2 double promotions.
There was always the expectation that we would get back there one day, but I think when we were languishing in the mid-table of League One, it felt a very, very long way away.
Just how special is the atmosphere at Portman Road?
Well, you'd have probably seen videos over last season, obviously the final day of the season when we got promoted against Huddersfield. The noise actually hurt my eardrums that day.
The Southampton game last season, when Jeremy Sarmiento scored that goal in the deep into injury time, I don't think I've known Portman Road as loud. So there's this sort of link between the fans and the players that's not always been there necessarily, or not necessarily been as strong as that. I think that's kind of forged this kind of Portman Road atmosphere that's really perhaps beyond what it's been for some years. Although having said that, when we got promoted before, last time around, our first home game was against Manchester United, and Sir Alex Ferguson said afterwards that Portman Road was as loud as he could remember anywhere. You know, he felt it was a much bigger stadium. So I think it's been there. Yeah, I think when you get Liverpool at Portman Road on the opening day of the season, I think the Liverpool players will know that there's an atmosphere.
Talk us through that final day then. You were here. What was it like?
It was the best day of my life. My missus will see this and be like, getting pissed off probably. I've been an Ipswich fan for my whole life and people my age have never seen success with Ipswich. To see a double promotion at your home ground, it is special.
12:30 kickoff, I think, and so it was kind of that sort of get up, rush out of the house, you know, get to the ground, and in the press room with kind of people I've known in the press room for many years now, and through thick and thin, mainly thin.
Went for breakfast with my family and friends. We were all really, really nervous. And then we got here to welcome the team coach with all the flares, the drums. The atmosphere was incredible.
I saw the fans welcome the coach on the way in, which sort of, you know, whets the appetite for the game. But you, again, just like the Exeter game the previous year, you didn't really have much doubt what was going to happen.
And then to do it in the style we did was really, really special. I think as soon as Wes Burns scored that opening goal, we knew we were going to do it.
So many matches, final day matches in the late 90s when we were trying to get a top 2 place and ending up in the playoffs, and games that were, you know, didn't go our way elsewhere while we won and those kind of things. It was remarkably calm. I kind of was trying to think, you know, where's the stress? I'm not used to this.
Everyone in the stands were just so emotional. There was a bloke in front of me who I sit with at the games. He was in tears. I shed a few tears. And then that final whistle blew and everyone was on the pitch celebrating. And I wish I could relive it all over again.
How do you think you'll do next season? Are you looking, is it survival? Is it fight for Europe?
You have to look at survival first. 24 years ago we came up, and I can remember one of the national newspapers, I think literally on the Tuesday or the Wednesday after we got promoted, saying Ipswich fans may be cheering now, but when they're losing 8-0 to somebody in the Premier League, they'll not be quite so cheerful then. Well, of course, then we went on and finished 5th. There was not a huge amount of expectation then. I think that people were anticipating 17th. I think that was the aim, and I think that will be the aim this time.
Would you say this is the greatest championship story of all time?
This is the greatest championship story of all time, I think.
I think it must be the greatest championship story of all time, really. To come from where we were when Kieran McKenna came in to take us to where we are now is quite extraordinary, really.
There's only been, I think, 5 teams to have done double promotions. But I think no one expected it with Ipswich. And for us to go and do it with the likes of Leeds, Leicester, Southampton, all these other big teams that had just come down from the Premier League, and for us to go and sneak into the top 2, I think it is the best championship story of all time.
And of course, the story isn't over yet. If we were to finish midway up the Premier League next year, then that's taking the story a bit further again. So yeah, I think in terms of the championship, it's very difficult to imagine that anyone has achieved anything greater than that.